And today's going to be no different. We have Natalie Lewis, Natty, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Natty is joining us today. Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure.
So what were some other things, like, I mean, as a child, how did you kind of carry yourself? I mean, what I see now is this confident, passionate woman. Were you always like that, even younger too, or?
Oh, heavens no. When I was in the 7th grade, which we all know is a socially defining time of life, I was vertically challenged. I was horizontally blessed. I had acne. I had braces. I had glasses. I had bad hair. You know, I was socially awkward because I was this tomboy who grew up with my brother. And now I'm in the 7th grade, and you're supposed to, you know, have relationships, and I'm all of a sudden starting to like boys, but I have no idea what that looks like to actually like a boy and not be competing against a boy, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
And I'm just as awkward as they come. You know, I had the self-esteem the size of a pea, and I grew up with this one bathroom and 5 sisters, no time to get ready in the morning.
My gosh, yeah.
And I preferred it that way because I didn't want to look at this in the mirror, right? Okay. So I had that kind of mentality, and what happened to me is I had little experiences along the way that started to help me understand that it wasn't about my circumstances, and it wasn't about what I looked like and whether I could grow taller or whether I could get thinner or whether the acne would ever go away or my bad hair would ever grow out. It was about what I thought of myself and how I saw myself. Yeah. And I had an experience in the 7th grade where I went into the bathroom where my older sister had been getting ready, and she had left the music on far too loud, which was a typical instance.
Sure, yeah.
And I walk in there to do my bad hair with my glasses and my and I can barely see the mirror because I'm really short, right? Like, just the whole situation is a problem. And there's this song playing on the radio, and it was "I'm Too Sexy for My Love." Right? We've heard this song before. But I'm doing my bad hair with my bad braces, my bad glasses, and something happened, you know. I went to school, and it was just like everything was a little brighter. Everything was a little better. I had people making comments like, "What's up with you today?"
Really?
And I just had this realization that the only thing different about me that day was not my acne or my braces or my glasses or my height or my width. The only thing different is I was too sexy.
Right.
That day, I was too sexy. And I started to have this realization that what I thought of myself could actually impact how I felt about myself. It couldn't necessarily change these things.
Right. Yeah, right.
I couldn't force myself to grow.
Yeah.
But I could be happy. I could be happy because of how I saw myself. Really? And I just grew up having little moments that started to establish these belief systems. Little moments that started to recognize that our circumstances don't define us.
Wow. Love that. And is it fair to say not only was it starting to cultivate some powerful belief systems, you were also maybe getting rid of some ones that were holding you back?
Oh, absolutely. Right? Absolutely. And I think of so many times when we're growing up and we just are going through life's circumstances, and we hold ourselves back because of different things that we've gone through.
Right.
And I was fortunate. I grew up in a household with 2 parents, and I recognize that that's kind of an anomaly now. And I feel extremely blessed for that. But I grew up with a father who didn't say very much, but he was also an athlete and a competitor.
Okay.
So I grew up in one of those households where if my mom was yelling things at games, it was mortifyingly embarrassing because she didn't know what she was talking about. But bless her heart, she showed up to everything and she yelled real loud.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Kick it hard, right? And then I grew up with a father who didn't say much, but I knew he knew what it felt like to be in my shoes.
Okay.
And what he didn't say spoke volumes.
Really? Okay.
And I had one particular experience in high school where I was playing in the state championship soccer game. And I was, at that time, I was committed to go play college soccer. And all eyes were on me. And there was a big fat target on my back because we're in the state championship game.
For sure.
I got a job to do. I got to score goals. And the game started, and we're about 30 seconds into this game. Ball goes flying down the field. I go flying down the field after it, and this defender comes from behind, slide tackles me, down I go. And she jumps over the top of me and lands her cleat on my knuckle. Oh. And you could actually hear the sound as my knuckle is being destroyed, broken into pieces. Oh. And I'm on the ground holding on to my fingers like, have mercy. My eyes are watering.
Right.
I'm in significant pain. She's only about 5 yards away from me, but she gets to the ball, And she goes to kick it. She does not clear it as expected, and it nails me in the face
Oh my gosh.
and breaks my nose. So we are 30 seconds, 1 minute into the state championship game,
Wow.
senior year, all pressure on me,
Yeah.
and I now have a broken finger and a broken nose. And I come off the sideline like I'm feeling so sorry for myself.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I mean, I
It's
mean,
understandable.
life has just dealt me a bad hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I look over and my dad is walking across the field with his hands in his pockets. Not like a concerning father, but like a what are we going to do about this kind of
Yeah,
look, right?
right.
He comes over and he literally says, let me see your hand. Puts some tape on there. He said, let me see your nose. And he puts one finger on one side of my nose and one finger on the other. He said, this is going to hurt a little bit.
Oh,
And he
no, don't tell me.
pops that thing
He
into
did?
place and threw tape on it. Then he stands back as if to survey his work, right? And says, well, that'll do. And I was like, that'll do
are you
what?
serious?
Are
Oh.
you kidding me? It's like child abuse to send me out on that field. And he said, look, it's your senior year. It's
Yeah.
the last game of the season.
Yeah.
You got teammates relying on you. What are you going to do about it? Well, at this point, I'm just ticked off that he even thinks I should go back
Sure.
out there and play. So I go out there, I run around, but you can actually, when you break something, you can feel the pulse.
Oh, yeah.
And I could actually count my heartbeat in my nose going pa-poo, pa-poo, pa-poo. My fingers going pa-poo, pa-poo, pa-poo. And I'm just dying on this field.
Oh, my
And the
gosh.
same girl who broke my knuckle and broke my nose hits me, and I fall over and I just start to cry. Coach subs me out. I'm sitting on the sideline, and here comes my dad. Hands in his pockets, not saying anything.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, I went out there. He didn't have anything to say to
Yeah.
me.
What's he going to say now? Yeah.
And he comes over, and I just let him have it, Dad, I went out there. I did my best. And he said, you did what? I said, I can't believe you expect me to go out there and play. And he said, I can't believe you don't expect it of yourself. That was the entirety of the conversation.
Really?
And I just sat there thinking,
Right.
for the love, right? Now I go out there, but now I'm just like focused. And I get out there, get the ball, screaming down the field, shoot, score, turn around as if to look at my dad and be like, there you go. And he looked right at me and said, exactly.
Whoa.
And again, those little
Jeez.
moments, right?
Man.
Those little moments where you start to realize we are all going to have life situations that are going to kick our trash. They're going to break us up. They're going to bust us in the nose and break our knuckle. And we're going to be feeling the pain in every facet of life. But there is a little piece inside of us that screams to us, you can do this. Wow. Your circumstances don't define you. You can move past these moments of pain.
Yeah.
And you can do this. Focus on something else. And what I learned from that was when we are focused on our pain, that is all we will feel.
Exactly. Yeah.
When we're focused on our circumstances, that's all we'll see.
Yeah.
But when we change our focus, when we really latch on to who we are and what we're capable of, wow, we are powerful beings. And we just don't always give ourselves credit for that.
Right.
Is probably what set me on the trajectory for the rest of my life.
Okay.
And it was the emotional roller coaster of hell. And much like everything in life, the really great parts come on the other side of the really tough parts.
Yeah.
And so I come in my freshman year, and anybody who's been an athlete would understand this, but you come in and you're recruited to play because you're at the top of your level and the team you're on.
Yeah.
But then you show up and it's like everybody was at the top of the level on the team you're on.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it felt like to sit the bench. I didn't know what it felt like to not be the best player on the team. I'd never experienced that.
Yeah. True.
So you show up and now, maybe you're getting some playing time, maybe you're not. Maybe you're sitting the bench, maybe you're not. I started out and I played my first 4 games, scored goals. I'm thinking, welcome to the next level. Here we go. Let's get it going. And then game 5, I sat on the bench, didn't play a single minute. And it rocked my world.
Yeah.
Rocked my confidence, rocked my belief in myself, rocked what am I doing here? I'm far from home. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I don't know what I'm doing. And when you define yourself so clearly by something you do and not by who you are, you set yourself up to get rocked pretty hard by life.
Yeah.
We are not what we do. We are not what we have done. We are not what we will do. We are not what we do on a daily basis. We are who we are. And we bring that person to the party.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that my freshman year. And I
Right.
defined myself by my capacity to play a game. And And when I wasn't playing that game and when I wasn't starting, it really rocked my belief in who I was.
Yeah.
And I realized that the rocking that belief in who I was also rocked the foundations of my belief system. And going through that process and really figuring out who I was and what I believed in and the fact that I could do this no matter what started to change everything. We were halfway through the season, and I will never forget this game. It was a life-changing moment for me. Well, we're sitting on the bench, and I'm going through, and in my mind, I'm just miserable.
Yeah.
I'm playing the game that I love at a place that I love, with my education paid for.
Yeah.
Where my job is to show up and play a game. Right? Like, I mean, things could be worse.
Right. Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm sitting there miserable, literally like having this out-of-body experience, looking at this pathetic soul sitting on the bench thinking, what is wrong with you? Could you just for a second look at your life and think, what are the positives? And I just started counting all the things I was grateful for.
Wow.
And in that moment, I got subbed in. And prior to that, in all the games I'd been subbed in, I played like terribly.
Right.
Because why? Where was my mindset?
Because you were,
yeah, my mind is over here, and I'm not good enough. I'm not capable enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not fast enough. So how am I going to play the game?
Right.
Not good enough, not capable enough, not strong enough, not fast enough. But I was on this bench having this like personal moment of gratitude, and I get subbed in. I wasn't even paying attention to the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey.
But I get subbed in, and now I go out there, and I'm playing from this place of gratitude, and I played unbelievably well.
Wow.
Came off the bench, and I thought, holy smokes, like that was fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't even care that I hadn't started. I just loved that I got to go on the field.
Yeah.
And the next game, I decided I was going to do that on purpose. And I got a little more playing time. And the next game, I decided I was going to keep doing that on purpose, and I got a little more playing time. And by the end of the season, we're getting close to the conference tournament, and I'm playing more than 50% of the game, but I'm not starting.
Yeah.
So I go into my coach. I said, what's the deal here? Like, I'm playing, I'm contributing, but I'm not starting. I want to start. And she said, we can't afford to have you start. I said, what does that
You're
mean?
like,
She
what?
goes, I've never seen anything like what you bring to the field. You are a spark plug. Because we can start a game with anybody. Right. But the second you step on the field 15 minutes in, we take our game to a new level, and they can't hang with us. And she said, we need you as a spark plug. And I realized that I had taken on myself this identity, an identity of a sub.
Right.
But really, the second I took on the identity of a spark plug,
I love that.
things got real, right? And how many times do we do that to ourselves in our daily life? We take on an identity, and we act like that identity, good, bad, or ugly.
Right.
But what if we just shifted it ever so slightly?
Yeah.
What would that do? If we've got time, I'll share a little story here about this. But
no, please, no. This is fascinating. Keep going.
This takes us back to when
I
I was an athlete myself. So I was playing basketball, and I'm in the 7th grade. Back to my socially awkward time, and I had just gotten braces on. And that's the first day I've had these braces on, right? And we all know if you're wearing braces, you end up like, I mean, these kids walk around, their lips are coming over their teeth, like they don't know what's going on. Yeah, they're poking out, they're doing this whole thing, and they look, we all look stupid. If you've had braces ever, you look
everyone
like,
can relate.
Yeah, you can relate. Yeah. You feel like your brain is like, wait, I can't close my lips anymore because I got to go out and around those things that are inhibiting my closure. So this is what I'm playing like. I have a basketball game the day I got my braces on. And I go out there, and I'm super short, as we have mentioned, like very vertically challenged. And I go out there, and in 7th grade basketball, I played this so I can say it with confidence.
Sure.
Like a great game ends like 14-10. Like there's no scoring in 7th grade basketball, right? Right? And the ball goes up, and the tall girls haven't quite figured out how to be coordinated above their head.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of rebounds that come straight to the ground, which was fine by me because that's my domain down there.
Yeah, you're down there.
That's where I'm at. So ball goes up for a shot. Rebound comes down through the pile. I diving in there. I grab a hold of this ball, and I go to come out, and I clearly have my lips open because my brackets get stuck to the butt of the girl I'm playing against. And I'm stuck, like real stuck. If you've ever gotten brackets stuck to mesh. And so I've got the ball, and I am pulling. I'm like, pulling against her rear end.
The Chinese handcuffs.
Yeah, and everybody sees I have the ball, so they spread out. And here's me with my face stuck to her butt, and I'm yanking against these things. And it's getting worse by the second, because when you pull on your brackets to the mesh, I'm literally just digging in deeper, right? She is trying to get away from me. She's scooting across the court. She is whacking my head with her hand. Finally, I just rip and you can hear this rip. And I'm standing there. I've got the ball.
Right, yeah.
I look like a piranha. I've got thread hanging out of my mouth, and I look around. My teammates are lying on the ground.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
ref has gone and sat down on the bleachers. He can't even stand up anymore. And I have the ball, and I'm standing there. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, what do I...
Like I'm already socially awkward, right? Like this is a problem. And there is a little over a minute left in the half, and they literally called it because no one could keep playing. They just called it halftime. We go in the locker room, and of course, everybody's dying. My coach is like, well, as long as we don't bite any more butts, I think we'll be fine in the second half, right? Like, this is that speech at halftime. But I am focused. But I've got this thread. I have a thread problem. I can't get it out. So I decided to take the thread. My brilliant little 7th grade mind is that I'm just going to wrap it around the bracket like that's going to hold, right?
Yeah, right.
So I start wrapping all this thread around my brackets. And then we come out, we start the second half. Well, when you're running in sports, right, you run with your mouth open. So I'm breathing. I would breathe, and the thread would go, and the girl defending me would do just what you're doing now, which was she would just die.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm done. Like I'm vertically challenged, horizontally blessed, and now I'm a butt biter. Like what?
Gosh, my stomach's
This
hurting.
my right? Like I'm dying. But I start to realize this is funny to everybody else, but it's not funny to me.
It wasn't funny to you.
And
right.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
Idea. Every time I blow, that thread blows, she falls over. I can go straight in for a layup. She can't even defend me.
Yeah.
So I start blowing, she starts falling, and I start going to the hole. And I literally set a school record for the most points scored by a 7th grader in a single basketball game because
way.
I got layup after layup after layup, 34 points.
Wow.
Now, no one scores 34 points in the
No.
7th grade, right?
Yeah.
17 times down the court, 17 layups later, 34 points.
No way.
So the next day I show up at school.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, so cool how you bit that girl's butt so that you could score 34 points, right? Now it's intentional.
Yeah.
But what it taught me
man.
was focus.
Yeah.
I changed my focus for a minute. I couldn't change my circumstances.
Yeah.
I couldn't
The
change.
thread's in your teeth.
I can't change the thread. I can't change that the most embarrassing moment known to mankind just happened to me in the 7th grade. I can't change anything. But what I can change is my focus.
Yeah.
And by changing my focus, I changed my outcome. And that is what I realized so much in life. As people will change their focus, they can change their belief. They can shift their outcomes. They can become anything that they want to become.
Wow.
With a little shift.
I want to talk about level up EQ and emotional intelligence. I think a lot of times when people hear emotional intelligence, what is that? So talk about that, your position there, and how that came about and what you do there.
Yeah, well, we recognize, everybody knows that we should exercise and eat right to take care of our physical body.
Right.
And lots of people do some mental work too. They might do visualization and maybe they even listen to podcasts on mental health, right?
Right, sure.
What do we do to exercise and provide ourselves tools to deal with our emotions? And emotional response is a huge deal. Like you're driving down the road, somebody cuts you off and you lose your marbles and you're thinking, who is that? Or I'm like, the Hulk, I just transformed and I don't even know why I did that. Or this happens all the time with mothers, but you're having a great day and you're in the kitchen, but while you're cooking dinner, the doorbell rings, there's a phone call, your pot starts boiling over, and then that is the moment when your child decides to go, mom, 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 mom. And after the 17th mom, you just lose it. Like your lid flips and you are like lost.
Right.
And then you spend the night feeling guilty because you lost your marbles on your 6-year-old who all they wanted to do was show you this really cool drawing.
Yeah.
And you feel terrible.
Right.
What was that emotional response?
Yeah.
How do we get better at that?
Yeah.
That is what emotional intelligence is. It is really learning what triggers emotional response. How do we tie our identity into that? How do we tie our reactions into that? How do we stop living life like life is happening to us and instead we're going to happen to life?
Yeah.
How do we start owning who we are and showing up in every facet of our life in this capacity? How do we do that as a business owner? How do we do that as a high achiever? How do we do that as an athlete? How do we do that as a mother? How do we do that as a person? And that is what emotional intelligence is. We teach people how to handle life in the emotional space, how to get better at it, how to learn what's actually happening, because so many people live their life having these emotional responses that they feel almost out of control.
Right.
I personally dealt with severe anxiety. I had to the tune where I was actually hospitalized at one point for anxiety. And it was in that moment where I realized I got two choices. I can own this as some kind of label and say, I have anxiety, or I can figure out what's happening to me and I can get better at it. And that's exactly what I did. I learned exactly what is happening in my emotional responses that triggers the feeling and emotion of anxiety. I learned how to find the chain of events that was leading up to it. I learned how to handle myself in that situation. And I haven't had an anxiety attack or even felt anxiety for years now.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
What I learned was that we are capable, just like we're capable of becoming stronger physically, we are capable of building emotional resilience, of building emotional capacity.
Yeah.
And in that capacity, it requires intelligence. We need to know what's happening.
Yeah.
Our bodies are working for us, not against us. Our emotional response is working for us, not against us. It feels like it's against us because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But the second we can understand it, we can start to improve upon it. We can start to recognize, wow, that's actually really cool. I'm programmed to work in this way, and that's really cool. But it's not serving me well in certain moments in life, so I'm going to figure out how to use what's working for me.
Wow.
And that's really what we teach in emotional intelligence. And we
Very
really
cool.
work with people in 4 quadrants of wellness. So we teach them how to use this emotional intelligence in their physical health, in their businesses and careers and professional lives, in their intellectual or spiritual lives, and also just in their lifestyle with their relationships with the people they interact with, and increase and improve personal inner relations. And that's what we do. And I love it.